Welcome everyone to the live roundup show of the 9th round of the Delhi Open 2018. Today was a highly exciting round. Where else can you see two GM norms being made in a day? I think it's one of its kind, and it's a big victory for the Delhi Open because Akash PC Iyer and Nubair Shah Sheikh, both of them achieved their GM norms today. And so many upsets. I mean, I can't even count them on my fingers. There were like grandmasters being beaten left, right, and center. So today's show is going to deal with all of them, all of these results, and I'm glad that all of you will be with me. So if you have any questions about the positions, about what we are discussing, then please feel free to type in the chat and we all will discuss the positions and get to the bottom of what was going on. So we already have a few people coming in. Hello Harish Kumar, welcome to the show. And Yash Mehan asks who all are playing. Well, this tournament is the Delhi Open. It's the biggest in India. In fact, 2,300 players played over here. 250 players in A group, 750 in B, and nearly 1,300 players in the C category. So it's an amazing ocean of players over here. If you are in Delhi, don't miss out the opportunity to come here tomorrow. Welcome Arijit Mukherjee. So the first game that I would like to show you, and one which was, according to many people over here, quite interesting from the point of view that the top seed Arkadij Naiditsch took a quick draw, was between Akash PC Iyer and Arkadij Naiditsch. Now Akash needed a draw. He was playing on the top board, and unheralded Akash is actually maybe this is one of the best results of his career. Many people were surprised as to why Naiditsch accepted the draw so quickly, but I have a feeling that it was a very wise move on the part of the Azerbaijani player. First of all, he's 1 point in the lead in the tournament, and secondly, with the black pieces, it's always okay. I mean, if you make a draw quickly, it means that tomorrow he goes into the final round with a half-point lead and has the white pieces. So if we go through the game quickly over here, let's just see. It was d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3. Akash is playing with the black pieces here, sorry, white pieces. Naiditsch is black, and we have this line. I think the interesting move here is also g6, so that you can put your bishop to f5. Usually this is the problem piece in the Queen's Gambit decline, and so this looks pretty interesting. By the way, I hope that I'm not falling for some trick here with knight d5. Now come on, this is well known theory. Yeah, I think after bishop f6, maybe bishop b4 check. Yeah, this should be good. Yeah, we have a few people here who all of them are here watching, and welcome everyone. There is Gotta Solve Fast, Alok Desai, Palash Malik, Arijit Mukherjee, Chess Forever. Yeah, welcome everyone. By the way, yeah, I was wondering if I got something wrong here, because knight d5 looks like a good move. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's queen d5 and then bishop f6. I can already check here bishop b4, and perhaps this is good compensation, I guess, after castling. Yeah. So anyway, bishop e7 was played by Naiditsch, e3, knight d7. Okay, bishop d3, knight f8, in g2 we have this Queen's Gambit declined position, and bishop h4, g6. It's a common idea to play knight g7 and bishop f5, exchanging the light squared bishops. So f3, castle, and here bishop f2 was played by Akash, c5. Now usually in these structures, if you see, if the pawn were on f2, then c5 would never be a good idea, but because the pawn is on f3 and you have this structure like this, then c5 suddenly becomes a very good move, because if you were to take, then knight c5, although you have this weakness, even e3 is not so well placed. So in that sense, this is pretty good. Queen d2 was played, and after cd4, Naiditsch offered a draw. And Naiditsch offering a draw was like a dream come true for Akash in a way, because he not only makes his GM norm, but also I mean, you know, it's a great feeling that the opponent offered a draw, not you. And in fact, I have a very similar recollection with my one of the tournaments where I was playing in Germany at the Dresden Open, and over there I was playing the final round against Martin Krautsev, pretty strong Ukrainian GM, around 2600 elo, and I needed a draw to win the title in the tournament, and after 13 moves he offered a draw, and many of the people were surprised, but somehow, you know, I was feeling that the flow was with me in the tournament. I was playing well, and also I could have given him a very good, I had a comfortable position, so I felt a draw was a good decision by my opponent, and the same goes for Naiditsch. I think offering a draw was a good result by him, good decision by him. So we have a few questions here, by the way. Shahida Begum, hi, welcome. DB Chess, welcome. Is e4 possible at some moment for white before c5? Yes, I think that one of the main plans for white when he has this structure is to play e4. So if you look here and this position, one of the main ideas is to play e4, and that is the reason why Naiditsch immediately played c5. Good point by Chess Forever, because if say black wastes a move, I am just going to make some move, then e4 could be possible, although here I still feel it's premature, because after take and knight g4, I have a feeling that black is getting good play. So c5, that is why was played. Now that was one of the most important results of today's round. Naiditsch keeps his lead. Tomorrow he will face Alberto David on the top board. Another player who made his GM norm today was Nubair Shah Sheikh, and I think this one deserves really hearty applause from all of us, because first of all, Nubair Shah is was playing a higher rated opponent, Karthikeyan, who is rated much higher than him, and second of all, he needed a win in order to make his GM norm, which is quite difficult considering all the pressure he had. So let's go over this game very quickly. By the way, we have some questions. Let's just see. What do you think about players who are stuck between the rating of 2000 to 2400 and are not able to become an IM? I am rated 1640. I study chess 4 to 5 hours daily. Can I dream to make chess my career? Well, I personally feel that any person who aims to work hard and also works in the right direction can definitely think about making chess his career. It depends, what do you want from chess also. Do you want money, fame? You know, there are a lot of different things. If you enjoy the game, you can always think about this. But very important is, if you work 4 to 5 hours a day, you should definitely improve from 1640. But are you working in the right way? And this is where maybe an experienced player or a coach can be useful for you. Sudesh Rajak, welcome. And Swaganna says Kaustav Chatterjee has done really well. Have you followed his games? Definitely, I have followed his games quite well in this tournament, and tomorrow if he makes a draw, he will be achieving his, I think, GM norm, which is a big result for the young boy. Just checking who's the opponent that he's going to play tomorrow. Kaustav, if you remember, he got one walkover against Timur Garev. Tomorrow he needs a draw with the white pieces against Adam Tukhaev. If he makes it, he will make a GM norm. So big day for the young Kolkata boy tomorrow. He drew with Deepsen Gupta today, by the way, which is a great result. I also have the list of other norm achievers, and I will be going through them at the end of the show. By the way, Adit Bhatia says see Gary Kasparov's games for this variation. Definitely f3 variation in Queen's Gambit declined with one of Gary Kasparov's finding, putting the knight on e2. So just very quickly, I mean, I would like to show you this: d4, d5, c4, e6, knight c3, knight f6, cd, ed, bg5, bishop e7, e3, c6, bishop d3, knight d7, queen c2, castles. And here everyone was putting the knight on f3, but then came Botvinnik first, who found knight ge2 move, and people realized that this is much more powerful than knight f3, because you always have the option of f3 and e4. And after Botvinnik came Gary Kasparov, who started to put his knight on e2 and won some phenomenal games against some of the best players in the world. So definitely, if you want to become a good player, watch out for the games of Kasparov and also Botvinnik here. Many other players for sure. This is one of the main lines now. Now coming back to the game of Nubair Shah Sheikh, it began, his white against Karthikeyan, and it began with this NG2 line. I have had a hate-love relationship with this line, liked it a lot at the start, then started to hate it because, you know, black just plays simple chess with d5. Well, now also I think it's a pretty good opening to be tried out, but nothing that black needs to fear. And c6 is one of the ways in which you can get a good game. The idea is to put your bishop back from a5 to c7. So this is what Nubair did. He pushed the bishop back, and it might seem that, you know, white is on the offensive, he has these pawns moving forward, but black is going to play d5, and because he's already castled and here it's still some congestion, I think black gets a good play. As Chess Forever asks, is it Karthikeyan Murli? No, it's P Karthikeyan. Sorry for that. White is Nubair Shah Sheikh, black is Karthikeyan Pandyan, who is also a very strong player. He has 3 GM norms already, one not really counted because of some foreign player issue, but otherwise he's extremely strong. Now d5 was played by white. This is somehow quite aggressive from white. Queen e7, g3, and I already have a feeling that black is doing excellently. Queen bishop e5. Now we are threatening cd, knight d5. So something has to be done. bg2 was played, a5. So as you said, these pawns are overextended, and now black is hitting back at them. Rook b1, take, ed, cd, and knight a6. I think over here Nubair might have felt that his position is already not so great. He is missing out on his chances here, but well, he's a fighter. He kept fighting on. He first of all came f4, then b5. You know, all these weaknesses in the position have been created, but what to do? Yeah, if you're playing for a win, this is how you do it. So cb, and then knight came to d4, bishop b4, knight db5, and d6 was played. So slowly white is consolidating himself in this position, but bishop f5, and here Nuber took the radical decision of sacrificing an exchange. After rook b4, knight b4, e4 was played, and here I have a feeling that black has to be careful. You know, he has one material, but if he is not going to play accurately, he might get into trouble. Knight e4 was definitely something that should have been tried, because after knight e4, bishop e4, there's this nice double attack. First of all, the bishop is pinned. Secondly, you are attacking the knight on b4, but after rook f e8, queen b4, you have this move bishop d3. The rook is kind of out of squares, so you reach this position, which seems like pretty good for black. This is what Karthikeyan should have done. Instead, after e4, he went bd7, and I think from here onwards Nuber was able to get his stuff going. You know, bishop b4, rook b5, bishop d6 was a nice move, rook a8, bishop e5, and here black played knight e8 with the idea of putting his knight to d6. And here's my first question to you of the day: what should white play? As Nuber said, his opponent just missed this move over here. So while you think about this position, about what white should be playing, let me just take the question by Adit Bhatia, who says, how should we study openings? I think this is a very important question. How should you be studying openings? It depends at what level you are, because let's say at a certain level, for example, if you are a GM, you have to be spending a lot of time on openings. But if you are, say, below 2000 or even below 1600, then what you would like to do is understand the opening rather than by hearting moves. And this is what I have seen: a lot of people just by heart the moves of the opening. They do not understand it, and if you don't understand these moves, then you are wasting precious time, because you might change your opening some other day and then you have lost all the knowledge. So the best way to understand an opening is to see games of good players in that line, also of top grandmasters, past grandmasters. Start from, let's say, Botvinnik or Capablanca or Uwe. All these players have played this openings. Then look at their games, and if you can learn from them, then you go to modern theory and you will understand the difference. This is the best way to do it. Of course, if you are looking out for a source, I would recommend you for professionals, Opening Encyclopedia. What it does is it gives every opening in terms of ECO code, and there are surveys by top GMs on each opening. Now, if you are looking out for Sicilian Najdorf, you get 10 surveys by authors like Postny, Avruk, all these top guys. So it's definitely something pretty good. So Sudish Rajak says, can you explain in Hindi? क्या आप हिंदी में explain कर सकते हैं? सुदीश, हमारा हिंदी शो होता है, तब आप लॉग इन कीजिएगा. आज का शो इंग्लिश में है, सो सॉरी, आप चेस एंजॉय कर सकते हो. यहाँ पर वाइट टू प्ले एंड विन है. ओके, right, so there are a lot of book recommendations that I am being asked for, but first of all, I have asked you a question, which is what should white play here? Chess Forever says d6 possible. However, you are missing out on a very strong move here, which is, should I say it out? I have a few moves. d6 possible, pretty good. Queen c4 also possible, but there is one move which gives white instant victory, and that's what Nuber played. And after the game, he said he thought his opponent missed that move. So can you find it? Yes, gotta solve fast. You are right. Bishop h3, excellent move. Just deflecting the queen from the defense of this rook. There is no way to protect it. Karthikeyan had to take, and after queen b5 it's all over. Mainly because the rook cannot be activated immediately, the knight is hanging, so that's all. Nuber, all that Nuber had to do now was keep control, which he did perfectly, and he achieved his first GM norm. Yes, now chess forever. Shivant, everyone got bishop h3, but got a solve fast was the first person who got the move, so congrats. By the way, I spoke to Nuber after the game, and he is doing third year engineering. He aims to be a grandmaster, but he's balancing his education and chess right now. It would be interesting to see what he chooses later on in his career, education or chess, but for now he is doing a good job. By the way, this is something that is very nice, that he has no nerves. Basically, he was a little bit nervous during the game, but when he got his opportunity, he played perfectly, and here there is still some chances for black, but he kept control and he won the game. Now Swaganna asks, what's your opinion on K40, the kid who increased his rating from 2000 to 2500 in a month? Yeah, well, that's one of the, I would say, negative parts about K40, and personally, if you ask me, I do not like it so much. It gives someone a direct entry into reaching very high ratings, while others who are above 18 have to keep struggling very hard. I know people who have spent years and years trying to reach 2500. Okay, now moving to a very interesting game for today, and one which I think it shows that grandmasters are human. In fact, I have shown many examples from this tournament, but this one I think trumps all of them, because first of all, it was a blunder made by one of the top GMs in the tournament, Sergei Tiviakov. So let me get this game first. Yeah, Tiviakov was playing with the black pieces against Ziaur Rahman, and Ziaur has been having a great tournament. He has beaten Tran Tuan Min. He has also scored a very nice victory in this tournament against Amanotov. Yesterday also he scored another victory over a grandmaster, Ivan Rozum. So beautiful. And so today he was playing Tiviakov, and it was like, okay, I mean, a draw would be a good result for him. And we reached this end game somewhere like this. I saw this position, black played queen d8, and white came in with queen e5. Ziaur is white. Point is, in this position, white is on the offensive. However, the knight, if it is not pinned and king f8 was played in the game, it turns out that black should have somehow some superior chances, because knight and queen coordinate well. But overall, this position is roughly even, and I would not be surprised if the players shook hands after a while. However, it turned out that Tiviakov was still very ambitious, so he continued playing. Knight e4, queen d3, queen e5, queen a6 was played, and here queen b2 was played by Ziaur Rahman, by Tiviakov, and now it's Zia's move. So I switch and I give the baton to you now. What would you play over here? It's white to play. Over here, after the game, as I spoke to Ziaur Rahman, he said he wanted to play bishop e2 to stop the idea of queen f2, but let's see if you can find the move. Okay, so anyone who's found this move, I have a few questions here. Let me get them. Chess Forever says, I hope he can balance. Becoming this act of balance has broken many dreams. Hope that does not happen to him. Yes, for sure. Shouldn't waste time balancing stuff if you are good at something. Shivan says, who is K40? K40 is not a person. It's basically the coefficient in chess, which is related to the ratings, and basically if you win, the points that you are scoring gets multiplied by the K factor. So for players who are below 18, the K factor is 40, otherwise it's 20. So and those who have crossed 2400, it's 10. So that makes it difficult to increase your rating and reduce. Who else? Gotta Solve Fast said, have you heard about Aryan Shah, the kid who beat Tran to Unmean? Yes, I met him in Bhopal. He lives in Pune. He has the same surname as me, so we have some connection. And yeah, a very nice kid. He's, I think, around 12 or 13 years old, already rated 2000. So someone that we can watch out for. Nimisha Rathi says, how do we get a GM norm? It's a good question. You get a GM norm if you perform at a rating of 2600. It means that if you face 2600 rated players in all the rounds, which is improbable, but if you do, then you must score 50%. You need to score 4.5 on 9 to get your norm. However, if you face players below the rating of 2600, if you face say 2450, then you have to score more points. So instead of 4.5, you will have to score 6 on 9 or 6.5 on 9. FIDE handbook has noted down the average rating and the number of points you have to score to reach 2600 performance, and so if you reach there, you are able to make the GM norm. Okay, Queen B7. My God, we have got so many people who have given this right move. First one was Abhilesh Darla, Vikrant Jaglan, Anubhav. Balodi says Queen A7. Anubhav, Queen A7 is possible, but when you find a good move, look for a better one. Queen B7 was the best move. Infinity Gaming, Janita Raja, Dhruvil Purani, Narsimha Suni, Hari Prasad Shankar, Subrata Nandi, Sudish Rajak. Wow, this is great. All of you have found this right move. Queen B7 check, and once you give that check, the game is over. The knight falls. Can you imagine Tiviakov, such a famous grandmaster, rated 2584, falling for such a trick? Well, it's unbelievable. He just lost the game, and you know, tiredness in chess can lead to so many different things. In this case, it was a piece blunder, immediate resignation by Tiviakov. So that was the end of that. The next game that I would like to look at, and one which I think is very interesting, is the game between Abhijit Gupta and Vignesh NR. I would like to see this game for two reasons. One is Abhijit's excellent play, and the other one being as we'll see in the game, just complete blackout at a moment. You know, this is something which happens so often to all of us, even to a top grandmaster like Abhijit, who has won the Commonwealth on 4 occasions. By the way, Vishal Giridhar just has joined us, and he says that who is leading, and the leader is Arkadij Naiditsch. He's on 8 points out of 9. Tharun J says, I'm a regular viewer. Welcome, Tharun. Yes, I know you have been with us since a long time and highly appreciate your presence. Dinesh Silva says, hi Sagar, you are doing a wonderful job with your channel. Thanks for the knowledge share from Sri Lanka. Well, Dinesh, thanks for watching this from Sri Lanka. Glad to have you here. Now, let's just look at this game by Abhijit. Abhijit was white, and he played this Reti. It seems like if you have prepared nothing, you just go to the board, play knight f3, g3, bg2, castles. It's like the newest thing. I mean, everyone is doing this. Of course, it started off with Kramnik doing it so often at the top level. We have Pragnananda doing it so commonly nowadays, and now Abhijit. Also, I saw Vidit doing it. So bg4, this is one of the solid lines, c4, e6, and now cd. And here is a critical moment in the game. If you were to play cd here, which is of course a bad move, because now knight e5, and if you go back, I have queen a4 check, knight d7, g4, and you see I'm just completely even if I don't play g4, this overall, this bishop here is not so well placed on f5. I can just play d3, and soon your bishop will be biting on granite. So that's the reason why when you play cd, if you want to recapture with the c pawn, it is better that you take on f3 first. And even though you give up the bishop, the point is that after cd you have this very solid structure here, and if white wants to ever get some activity, he has to break with d3 e4, which is not going to be easy. So they say it's not what remains on the board is more important, it's not what goes out that's important. So over here, even though your bishop went out, what's left is that your knight is coming to c6, your bishop could go to e7 or d6, and you can just castle, which gives you very free flowing development. And I have not been able to understand this move bishop into f3 many times. My opponents have played it against me, and I have realized the importance of this solid structure as compared to the bishop pair. So I hope that you too can try it out sometime with black. d4 was played by Abhijit. Now what you have to see is how Abhijit plays this very nicely. Knight c6, knight c3, all normal. e3, first of all, he doesn't try to activate this bishop, because even on f4 it's not doing too much. What he wants to do is put the bishop on d2, get his queen out, say to b3 or a4, put his rook to c1 or d1, and put his bishop back to e1. Now all the action would be going along this diagonal. The bishop could come out at some point. So overall, even though it seems like white is playing a little passively, he still has a lot of chances because of the bishop pair. Right, so now let's try to see a few more questions if we have. I have a lot of people who have sent in. Shivan says, how to improve at rapid chess? Well, I think solving tactics, that's very important when you play rapid chess, because it's all about tactics. If you can spot tactics, nothing like it. I have seen young kids playing blitz, mainly on the last day of World Youth Olympiad. I saw these group of players, Nihal Sareen, Pragnananda, Ali Reza, so many youngsters, and the ones who were sharp at tactics were able to just completely outplay the ones who were trying to go positionally and stuff. So you need to be tactically very strong in order to be a good rapid player. Anjaya Pathak says, please tell me, how did you improve your game? I think we will learn a lot from you. Well, Anjana, this is something I plan to do in the coming days. I would like to start a series where I would try to give tips on how to become a better player, how I improved my rating from 2000 onwards to reach 2400, and maybe you can learn from that. So stay tuned for that. Vishal Girdhar says, why are you not playing this tournament? Well, because I'm covering it. You can't do too many things, although I have had my times when I have covered an event and also failed miserably in that, especially in Qatar Open, where I faced 2600 GMs. Writing daily reports was crushed badly towards the end. So it's a full-time job, both of them. You can do either of the two, not both. Yeah, Prithviraj, I'm glad you have watched all the videos, and that's very nice. I hope you are learning a lot. Yeah, many other questions, but Atri Chatterjee says, do you advise a 1700 rated player to play this line? Yes, I mean, it doesn't matter what your rating is, as long as you play lines which are good, which is here, it's perfectly fine. You shouldn't have a problem. I think you should experiment with your openings, not just keep sticking to one thing. Try to find what you like the most and then, you know, play it out. Okay, so castles was played with by black. Bishop d2, as I mentioned, rook c8, rook c1, a6, bishop g2, and you can see black is playing normal chess. However, white has now created a target, that is the b5 pawn, and he's attacking the b5 pawn. Well, bishop b4 was played, rook f d1. I like this move, rook f d1, because you are clearing the f1 square for your bishop, and you can see how compact and nicely white pieces are. Rook to d, c1, d1, bishop on e1, bishop on f1, but all of them are so nicely placed they can come into the game immediately. Now knight c4 was played, and this is my question to you now. I hope you all are alert. White to play. Abhijit Gupta played over here queen to c2, which I don't like very much. Can you find the best move in the position for white? Some of the players are discussing about Tata Steel, and it's definitely one of the tournaments to look forward to. Yesterday Adhiban lost to Carlsen, which was not a good result, I would say, especially after the position that he got from the opening, which was very drawish. But I simply loved the way Vidit won against Krasenko. That was a tremendous game, moving his king from e1 to e3 in the opening. I think it was some very good bit of opening preparation. Shivant says b3, also Abhilash Darla says b3. I think b3 is not a bad move here, quite playable. However, you have a stronger move. Try to look at it, try to understand. Whenever a position is given to you, look at the pieces which are undefended. If you look at them, you will immediately start spotting tactics. Na2 Dhruvil possible. It is attacking the bishop, but it does nothing after bishop into e1. You just misplaced your knight. So, I mean, it's possible to play that move, but you have something better. Atri Chatterjee says e4, also Shivant. Well, e4 is also possible, but not particularly the best move. Knight a4, Vishal, you have a good idea. You want to discover attack on the opponent's knight, but after b into a4, the bishop is defended, so doesn't work. Shashikant Makone says knight into d5, but it's replied by knight into d5, unfortunately, so doesn't work over there. All of you are now getting the idea correct, that you have to move the c3 knight, but Atri Chatterjee is the one who gets it right. It's knight to e4, a very nice move. The point is, if you take this knight, I play bishop b4, and this bishop is a monster. It's going to be beautiful on the dark squares. So, and if you take on e1, then after knight f6, gf6, you've already mangled the opponent's pawn structure, and after rook e1, you are better, because b3 is coming up soon. Queen will be going on the king side, bishop might pop out to d3, so better position for white. Yes, we have few more people. Chandrajit Rajawat, who says the same move, knight e4. Well done, that's the right move. But as it turns out, Abhijit didn't find it. I was very surprised that throughout the game he had chance to play this move, this discovered attack move, but he kept missing it. Rook f c8, once again knight e4. He would have got a great position, but he played bishop d3, bishop f8, queen e2, and although he has not made the best moves, I think he still has a pretty fine position over here, and he managed to trick his opponent. By the way, here knight b5 was just strong. I think, however, he was confused by the fact that there is this knight c1 move, which leads to great complications, but after queen f1 white is doing fine. Okay, knight b1 was played, knight c1, queen f1, and there we reached a position here, and the question is, who is better? Well, if you were to make simple, calculation, rook is worth 5 points. If you add up 2 rooks, that's 10, queen is 9. So indirectly white should be better here. He has the 2 rooks, the 2 rooks are going to come in, and overall it doesn't seem like black has any good possibilities. However, just look at what happens next. h5, just removing all the back rank issues, knight d2, queen c8, and this is where you make a move lightly, king g2, and then you suffer for the rest of the game. It's black to play here. Vignesh comes up with a very nice move. Can you find this? Black to play and well, win the game. Yeah, Vishal Girdhar says, is Delhi Open 2019 a 1 crore tournament? Yes, it is. Dhruvil Purani says, can you explain again after knight e4? Yes, I will come back to it after I finish this game. Chandrajit Rajawat, of course, Chandrajit, knight e4, I can read what you have written. Okay, Shivant says queen c1. Azatri Chatterjee says white is better here. He has 2 rooks controlling files. Yes, queen c1 also by Shashikant Makone. Well, if you play queen c1, I think I have the strong move rook a2, or even rook a8 check and moving the knight. There's something even stronger than queen c1, which Abhijit simply underestimated, and Atri Chatterjee, he seems to be on fire. Bhupnath says queen c1, Prithviraj as well, queen c1. That's not the right move. It's a good move, but not the best. Vikrant Jalan, Omkar Chakradev, everyone gets the right move now. Atri Chatterjee was the first one, queen to c2. And the point is very simple. If you move the knight, my knight is jumping into e4, attacking the f2 pawn. There's no way to defend it. Just like that, from a completely better position, if Abhijit would have just played rook a2 over here, defending the second rank, he would have just got I think he would have won the game. However, he went king g2, and after queen c2, well, it was all over. He had to give up the piece. For example, if he had gone knight f3, knight e4, there's no salvation here. The queen is taking on f2. It will be a mate. So rook b7, and yeah, that's all. This was a nice finish, although nice tactic by black over here. Can you find it? It's just a small thing. I mean, a lot of moves win here, but still I would like you to find the best move for black. How did Vignesh finish off his opponent very quickly? In this very position, it's black to play. What would you do? It's a nice little tactic. It just shows whether you are tactically alert or not. Okay, so Anjanya Pathak says, when you were an amateur in chess, did you stick to only one opening, or you played various openings? Well, I stuck to one opening. I mean, I would play one opening for a few months, then shift. I think when you are an amateur, you shouldn't worry too much about the openings. You must just play what you feel comfortable in, and if you want to play something different, you can try it out. But in general, build a good repertoire, then try to experiment a bit. Overall, you should have a knowledge of everything. Don't compartmentalize yourself as a e4 player or a d4 player. If you have good knowledge about different systems, it really helps in the long run. Yes, there are a few people who found the right move. First one over here was Shashikant Makone, who finds knight into h2. Very nice. There were more people who found it, knight into h2, and it's a nice trick, yeah, because if king into h2, you have queen e2 attacking the rook on f3 and d3. So there's no way to coordinate the rooks. Yeah, there is a way, by the way. If you play e4, but then this pawn comes in and attacks the two rooks, and if you play rook e3, then this is a nice little pawn queening. So yeah, after knight h2, this was all over. Abhijit had to resign the game very soon, and a nice win for Vignesh. By the way, he was alert. He had lost the game, I would say, in a way, because Abhijit was clearly better, but he didn't give up. And that's what you should also do. If you are in a minus position, try to look out for some small traps and tactics. If your opponent falls into it, nothing like it. By the way, Dhruvil, the position which we are looking at was this, and the right move was knight e4. The point is, if you take my knight on e4 with the pawn or with the knight, I take your bishop, and if you take bishop, then I'll first take your knight, weaken your pawn structure, and take on e1. I mean, that's how it works. I hope it is now clear. Okay. Ritesh Rajput says, I am from IIT Kharagpur and watch almost all your videos. Thank you, Ritesh. That's wonderful. Chess Forever. Yes, this was the game of Abhijit and Vignesh. Yeah, you missed the stream, but you're back well in time for a few more games left. By the way, I have been at the Delhi Open and I have met a lot of people here who have said that they are watching the YouTube videos of Chessbase India, and it feels very heartening and warm that you all are watching it and learning from it. It makes my time spent on this worthwhile, because a lot of people are learning through this medium, and we intend to keep doing a great job. So if you are not a subscriber, subscribe to our channel. If you are subscribed, then turn on the notification so that every time a new video is published, you get to know about it. Vishal says, my light chess rating is 1600. What can be my real rating? I have no idea, actually. You have to play a tournament to find out. You must do that. You know, if you like chess, you must go out and play. Dhruvil asked, how to know if your position is balanced and drawn? Well, I think you have to calculate the consequences, assess the position, look at the various factors. I love to do it the Silman way, which is the imbalance method. Try to use it, try to read the book, reassess your chess. I really like it very much. You will learn a lot. Angom Nongsha has joined us. Welcome, Angom. And Omkar, sometimes there is a day like this when you lose, when you can lose to anyone. That's what I have realized. I have been going through different cities covering chess events for the last 45 days now, and I can tell you, on each and every day a winning position was lost. And so all of you out there who lose winning positions, or you know, are upset about it, remember that somewhere in the world there are another at least 100 players who are suffering from the same thing. So cheer up, get ready for your game, next game, because you get the pieces back, you know, and that's what Topalov always said. I get the pieces back, I get those 32 pieces on the board in their initial position. I can play a good game on any day. So that's what you should have, the attitude. And I'm sure Abhijit, after losing this game, has the same attitude. Tomorrow he will most certainly come back with a good mood to the game. Okay, so let's look at one more game over here, which is the one which I had selected. I think there are a few more, but I would like to show you one very interesting end game which I found very funny, but also at the same time shows you the difference between a knight and a bishop. You know, many times players who are inexperienced and not very strong can understand the power of a knight, but in order to understand the power of a bishop, you need to be a very strong player, because knights can jump, you can calculate, but bishop's control cannot be calculated. You know, you need to have that feel on the position, because it controls only one colored squares. So in this game, Vitaly Sivuk, who is a very strong 2550 GM, is playing Mitra Ba Guha, and they soon reached a position like this. Last move was just knight e3, and you realize here that if anyone could play for a win, it has to be white, because he is a pawn up. However, it turns out that it is black who actually won the game here, and it's because of two reasons. We'll come to it very soon. King g3. First of all, he played king f4 here, knight c4, and he took on h4, b5, cb, knight b5. And now let's look at this position. The point is, this is a draw. However, white has to be accurate, and here you can see the stark difference between a bishop and a knight. A bishop can control opponent's pawn from a long distance, like you can see it's on h1, but can control c6, and the knight has great difficulty stopping the opponent's pawn. Also, rook pawns are the knight's worst enemies. You know, the thing is, the knight cannot really get to it quickly. If it were a knight pawn, it's still possible, but the rook pawn is just too far off, and both these factors combine to give black a win here. However, it's not winning, by the way. If white were to play king e3 here, he would have drawn the game after h4, knight d4, h3, knight f5. I think this is just a draw. However, in the game, white played knight to d6, and it's your move now. You know, I just keep asking you questions to ensure that you have not logged off or you're not gone off to sleep, by the way. So black to play. What are you going to do here? Very nice move by Vitaly Sivuk, again showing how you should play against a knight in an endgame. Let me just check. Yes, Chess Forever says the knight has to sacrifice itself for the h pawn. Can you do it? That's the question. Atri Chatterjee, the white player in this game is Mitra Ba Guha, black player is Vitaly Sivuk. Well, Bhupnath says we have met in Patna. Of course, Bhupnath, I know you very well. We have interacted quite well, and you are a strong player, around 1800. I hope that you are going to play a tournament soon, and I hope that you are making good use of the chess based softwares that you bought from Patna when we met. Okay, Anjaneya Pathak says, should I play GM tournaments with preparation or play these tournaments without much preparations for experience? Well, this is always a question you need to weigh carefully. Many people spend a lot of time preparing all the time and then never play a tournament. I think that's not the right approach. There are some who just want to play a tournament without preparing. I think even that is not the correct approach. You need a balance. You should have some good weapons up your sleeve. You should have worked on your openings a bit, have good endgame knowledge, should be sharp in a position, and then go to a tournament. And then when you lose, learn from it. If you do all of these things, you'll keep getting better. but no point in trying to make 100% preparation and going to the tournament, because then it means you're not going to play ever. I see a lot of people saying king f4. First one was I think Bhupanath, who says Shashikant Makone as well, king f4. You guys are right. Abhilash, sorry, there is Atri Chatterjee, Shivant, chess forever, Vishal Giridhar, Vinny 64, the king f4, chess forever as well, and Angom Nongsha, he goes with the majority, he says king f4. Well, king f4 is the correct move. The main important point is that, and this keep in mind always, when the knight and the king are in a position with just one square in the middle, like in this diagonal, it's the best position for the king to be vis-a-vis the knight. You know, the knight, in order to check this king on f4, needs to travel 1, 2 and 3 squares. Oops, yes, 3 squares. That's a lot. That means that this knight cannot trouble the king on f4, and as you can see, now the h pawn just cruises along. There's just no way, and knight is controlling h1, but soon it will be zugzwang time. Either you lose a piece or you let the h pawn queen. So this shows that in the end games you have to be very, very careful, especially against these Russian GMs who have been, you know, as they say, they are born with endgame skills. They are taught endgame when they are young, and they are very good at it. So you cannot relax against them, as Mitraba Guha learnt it the hard way against Vitaly Sivok. Okay, so if we have, let's try to look at one last game before we end today's roundup show. I think we have seen a lot of them. We have one interesting game, and I would like to look at the game between Dhulipala Balachandra Prasad and Lalit Babu. Lalit Babu is, of course, the national champion. Dhulipala Bala Prasad Chandra, quite a long name, is his second. You know, he helped him become the national champion. They both have the same coach, Murli Krishna Gangaraju, and somehow, you know, Lalit must have had great confidence when playing against his friend, because, you know, they know each other well. But Dhulipala has one secret weapon up his sleeve, which is the London system. He plays this always. He has such great experience with this opening. You know, I have played with him with the black pieces. You know that he's going to play the London system, but you just can't do anything about it, because the London is a good opening. I mean, you can come prepared. It will be equality, but as you can see, Lalit Babu was ambitious. He is rated 200 points above his opponent, and so he played this knight a6 move here, and after e4, which is sort of a novelty. This is all, by the way, Dhulipala's preparation. We soon reached a position where b5 was a nice move by Lalit, because if you are castled on the opposite wing, it makes sense to try to open lines. You know, taking this pawn would not be the best idea, because I take, and I get the b file open. You can play queen b6, rook b8, b2 would be weak. So anyway, in the game, h4, I think queen e7 was not such a great move as Dhulipala said. b4 would have been better. Queen e7, e5 was played, and now as you can see, white has more space towards the king side, and he goes for it. This is a very nice attack. Rook f7, g5, bishop d7, gf6, and now comes this rookie one move, queen d4, queen h2. b4 was played here, and I would like to pose the question to you, what should white play? There are a lot of moves here, and I think it's very important that you try to include as many pieces as you can in the attack. So what would you play as white here? Omkar says, isn't this Sicilian now? Well, there are contours of that opening. It seems like the Sicilian actually. Yeah, Angom says, I have noticed that Dhulipala plays the London with white every time. Yeah, exactly. He's so good. And I asked him, how do you prepare the London? And he says, I just looked at the games that are being played. And he also recommended a book, which is some old book by Kovacevic. I need to look it up. If you can find that, just try to see it. And he played a lot of games on this opening to get a good feel of it. And secondly, what he did was, after every game that was played at the top level, he would analyze it and learn from it. I would also recommend one more resource for you to get better at the London system, which is Simon Williams' Bishop f4 opening, which is pretty good. Very nice opening. By the way, we have Ramesh in the studio, and it would be very nice to get him online. We are having a live show right now, and I think it would be nice for people to get a glimpse of you.
Hello guys. Hello Sagar.
Hi, and it was so nice to see India's super coach today at Delhi. I mean, I didn't know that you were going to be here.
Yeah, I didn't know day before.
So it was a very last moment plan for you. Wonderful. So what are you doing here?
Basically, like we have tied up with one Delhi-based company called Nurture, and they are trying to take quality chess training to people all over the world, starting with India. Like they want to bring quality chess training to everyone. So we are trying to record some of my lessons and come up with a structured syllabus for the kids.
So it's basically like master class. Yeah, you teach, and after that people can watch those videos.
Yes. So I teach, it is being recorded, and then subsequently people can watch those videos and learn. And we're also planning to have some live webinar sessions every month.
Wow.
And slowly bring in more quality coaches who will be taking the training to the next level. So basically we want to meet the needs of as many kids as possible in training.
I realize that you don't have enough time to personally cater to each and every student, so I think this initiative brings you closer to that.
Yeah, so usually what happens is like many young kids, they want to learn from us, and we are not able to accommodate everyone's request simply for the time paucity. So with the technology we are trying to bridge that gap and try to take the training to every child.
That's amazing. I think all of you out there, just go to nurture.com. It's NURTR.com, and you will be able to see some glimpses of Ramesh's upcoming masterclass over there. By the way, since you have entered this place, a lot of people have been typing India's best coach. Welcome to one of the best coaches of India. So, well, I think you truly deserve this.
I think like what I try to teach my students is not do things with these things in the mind. Like I'm not doing training to become the best trainer in the world or in India and so on. I teach because I like to teach.
Right.
And I try to teach my students to play chess because they like to play chess. So same philosophy I try to pass it on to my students as well. And I believe our friend here, David, is taking photography to the next level. And it's mostly not for the results. It's mostly about his passion.
Right.
Doing the thing you like the best possible way.
So you mean to say if someone likes to play chess, he must work on it and just play, not think about results, titles and stuff like this?
Yeah, I think I would put it like this. Like the results is like our shadow. And the effort we put, it's ourselves. So usually the shadow should follow us instead of we running behind the shadows, something like this.
Right.
So we put our effort, and with the hope that it will get the results we want eventually. Not always, but eventually, more often.
But did you have the same approach when you were playing, or this knowledge has come to you after you have started working as a trainer?
No. This did not come to me when I was a player. Basically, when I was a player, I was kind of a semi-blind person, you can say. I know some things, I know what to do in some areas, and I was not sure in many other areas. And there was not enough guidance, and there were not many guys who were giving the right advice. And later on, when I started working on Dvoretsky books, then I learned that the things which I consider important, they are not the most important stuff. There are many other things as well. And also, as a player, I had my own share of good and bad moments. And eventually, I realized that it's not just me who is going through all this, it's almost everyone out there who is going through all these phases. So I felt if I can share what I learned from my own experience with other generations, they can benefit from it.
And you are truly doing a great job. By the way, one of our readers, Steve Dagonia, asks how to become a good trainer.
I think the same way how to become a good player. First, you need to have passion for what you are doing. So we cannot just have it as a profession to make a living and so on. All that will eventually happen if we do our job well. So as a trainer, our objective should be to the kids or whomever comes to us to the best of our ability. And if our current ability is not good enough to handle the needs of the players, we have to just upgrade our skills. So just because we become a coach doesn't mean we know everything, and what we are doing is the best approach to a given situation. So we also learn and adapt. And main thing is like do it sincerely. Whatever you know, try to teach it without holding them back. Don't think your resources will get exhausted if you do that, because sadly in one tournament I played with a very respectable trainer and a fantastic player, and I held him very high regard. And then after the game I asked him, like, eventually in 1 or 2 years I will become a full-time coach, so do you have any advice for me? And he said, don't teach everything you know. That's the first thing he said, because you know very little. Once you share everything you know, in 1 year you will be unemployed. And that did not feel right to me. And I felt, okay, I will take the risk and try to teach what I know. And if it's not enough, I'll just upgrade myself. So far it's doing well.
So you hold nothing back, and you give everything that you have.
Yeah, I think by giving more, we learn more ourselves. So it doesn't get less. When we share more, we actually learn more.
This is a wonderful advice, and I think this is something which all of you should bear in mind. Give as much as you have to get more. If you keep holding on to yourself, I think there's no space for more to come in.
No, why to become a teacher?
Sure. Wonderful. By the way, we have one question by Angom, who says, waiting for more books from your end. Any planning? I would like to add here that Ramesh's first book, that was for Metropolitan Chess, has been ordered already to India. There are 1,000 copies coming our way, and which will be given at a discounted price in India.
So I would like to add that it is Sagar Shah and chessbase.in. They have taken this initiative with great difficulty. They are procuring the books to India. So personally, I would like to thank you for all the help and initiative you have taken in this.
Welcome. And what can the readers expect from this book if they do buy it? What is it that they would learn from it?
Okay, I think what people learn, it's more individualistic. Like, I strongly believe that a teacher cannot influence what the child learns, because for example in any classroom environment, let's say you have 30 kids in a classroom, say a biology session is going on, the syllabus is fixed, it's the same book for all the 30, and it's the same teacher who teaches at the same time using the same words to all the 30, but all the 30 don't learn the same lessons, they don't get the same grades, so they all pick up different things from what they read and listen. So I think that applies to the book also. I try to put my honest effort into sharing what I know. It is not comprehensive. It has not covered everything. It's just a few parts of things I have written in that book. But ultimately, my aim is to come up with a comprehensive book which will try to cover every aspect I have learned from chess so far. So from this book, I think I have focused more on how the process of thinking, how we should think, how we should approach things, instead of going too technical about it.
So that's great. I think the books will soon be available within a week or so, and you stay tuned for more updates on chessbase.in. By the way, I know that you are on a tight schedule here, and before we let you go, I have one question. You said that people should only do things that they love, shouldn't get stressed by results and stuff. Do you think that our very young and talented player Pragnananda is right now suffering from some kind of a stress and tension of becoming the youngest GM in the world?
Yeah, I think Pragnananda, he is going through a phase. It's a very important phase in his life, and I think one of the most exciting phases to be in, where as far as the pressure part is concerned, like I usually tell all my students to avoid reading media during the tournament, because their views and impression can take the focus away from what we are supposed to be doing. So it's not any disrespect to media or anything. It's just to keep the focus on the game. For a professional, it's important to focus on the job at hand, not try to satisfy others' expectations or views. So if someone is putting pressure on Pragnananda, it can only be Pragnananda. So that too, if he lets it happen, and everyone has pressures. So it's nothing unique for Pragnananda. He is a fantastic player. He will eventually become a grandmaster. Whether he becomes the world's youngest grandmaster or not, personally, I don't think about this question at all. It doesn't occur to me.
You don't think it's important, yeah?
I don't think it's important. It's important only from maybe commercial viewpoint. Like, he may get good sponsors if he becomes the world's youngest grandmaster. He may get better conditions. But I don't think without that, I don't want to believe that he cannot fulfill his potential.
True.
So I feel if he is destined to be someone great, he will eventually get there.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's great words, and just this final position of his game with Magesh Chandran. What do you have to say about this game? Did you see it?
Yeah. I read your comments also. Okay. What to say? Like, I know my good friend Rahul Shetty. So he has this habit of sometimes keeping his pieces locked in odd positions. So in our times, we used to call it Shettifying the rook. So this
Shettification,
Shettification. So the rook h6 is Shettified. It's nice, funny geometry.
Yeah.
So one makes wonder how it went there.
Yeah, I was very curious when I saw the game, and of course it was. I think Magesh had a lot of chances to get his rook out, but in the end he got it Shettified. A nice word that we learned today. So Ramesh, thanks for visiting the studio and spending some time. I'll catch you soon.
Sure.
Sometime soon. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Sagar. Yes. Bye, everyone.
Okay, so we have this position that we were looking at of Dhulipala Balachandra Prasad against Lalit Babu, and I had asked you the question, what should Dhulipala play here, and the right move I think was suggested by a few people. If you can just write it down again in the chat box. Yes, there were people, Atri Chatterjee, Subha Lakshmi Nath, Shivant, everyone got it right. Prithvi Raj, that's wonderful. I think you guys are tremendously strong. Rook G1, getting the rook into the game. You're looking at the black king, and you should see the massacre that occurs now. I mean, it's completely bishop f4, bishop took on c7, and now on e5 the rook is pinned, queen comes in, game over. I mean, beautiful game by Dhulipala Balachandra Prasad, and I think he deserves a great pat on the back, because he not only fought his mental fears, but he also played a great game to beat someone with whom he is working, which is never easy. So guys, that was a roundup for today. There were very interesting games that we looked at, very nice tactics, strategy. You can see so many blunders taking place at the highest level. What are you doing at home? You know, you should be at the board. If grandmasters are blundering all the time, you need to be beating them. So look at the next tournament, keep working on chess, keep playing, and tomorrow is going to be an exciting day because Arkadij Naiditsch takes on Alberto David on the top board. He's on 8 points. Alberto David is on 7. On the second board, Karthikeyan Murli is up against Ziaur Rahman, who is on 7.5. So if Alberto is able to beat Naiditsch and Ziaur Rahman beats Karthikeyan, you might well see a complete turnaround. And we have some chances for norms. First of all, GM norm for Kaustav Chatterjee if he makes a draw, and IM norms for Nilesh Saha, Arjun Kalyan and Kaustav Kundu if they win their games. So 3 people can make more norms. We already have 3 norms, as we discussed. Akash PC Iyer making a GM norm, so did Mohammad Nubair Shah Sheikh, and Samed Jaikumar Shetty making an IM norm with 1 round to spare. That's all from here. Thanks for tuning in. I had a wonderful response today. It was so nice to have India's super coach Ramesh coming in. It was a big surprise for me, and I hope for you as well. And do subscribe to ChessBase India YouTube channel. See you.